Well, welcome back, folks, to the 2020 USTA Georgia Awards Ceremony. This year, unfortunately, having to do it virtual because of the pandemic, but we appreciate Susan Pierce joining us this morning. Susan Pierce is the 2020 USTA Georgia Special Recognition Award. How you doing, Susan?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. And, you know, Susan is a valued part of our staff here, member services, and the friendly voice of USTA Georgia. If you've called our office, chances are you've talked to her and she's tried to help you. And so, Susan, what got you? You're so good at that, of getting people at ease and trying to help people. Obviously, that's something that came natural to you, correct?
Yes, I've always been good at talking to people, getting to know people. But most of all, I think when I've been in various jobs in the past, I used to be in recruiting. The number one thing on my list was to make people comfortable and to get to know people. So I think everybody has a story and everybody needs people to talk to. So I think if they're having an issue or if they just want to have a question, I think the importance is to make them always feel important.
Well, you're excellent at it. We know that. So, and hopefully everyone that's had a chance to talk to you very much appreciates the extra mile you go for folks. And that's really the gist of this Special Recognition Award, because back last year when the pandemic hit, our organization was trying to do what we could to help all of our network providers and those types of folks. And what we settled on was trying to make sure that folks knew all the resources that were out there from a government perspective, from a food bank perspective, and you just went above and beyond trying to help folks. Is that something that you're proud of, the work that you did there? Something that was a passion of yours?
Absolutely. I think when all of this started, my heart really went out to people that lost jobs or who had small businesses, and I look at the independent pros as small businesses because they run their own. And also pros that work, for an organization, whether it's a club or an academy or whatever. But I just held it true to my heart that I wanted to help anyone I could help because I felt blessed to still have a job. And I know how difficult it is for people to try and support a family or just support themselves when they don't have any assistance and they're not getting any work. So.
Yeah, and a lot of our staff really pitched in. I did want to publicly thank Kim Letts and Greta Gant for their efforts in getting that program launched. And I think we did help a lot of folks out there. And that, along with what Southern had chosen to do with their Southern Cares program with some financial assistance, I think was a really good combination. And I hope that people were able to get something out of it and help folks through the pandemic. And of course, it's still going on as we speak today. So we're doing the best we can. But you have an interesting tennis story, Susan. You're an avid league player, playing on what 37 teams at this point. It seems like it feels like it.
A lot of teams.
So what got you interested in tennis? What got you?
We would go way back. The question.
Let's go way back.
Because when I was about your kids' ages, between 5 and 6 years old, my mom was an avid tennis player. And she used to take us to the courts all the time. And finally, she signed us up for a recreational tennis program within our neighborhood. So we would go out and take little lessons and have our own little tournaments within the organization or in with the little recreation that we were in. And it was just a lot of fun. I loved it. But then once I went away to school, tennis kind of went by the wayside. I started playing basketball and I swam. So those were kind of my bigger things that I went to because my high school was very small. We didn't have tennis. So I went into some more recreational type sports besides tennis. And then as I went away to college in North Carolina at Elon, that was a extracurricular activity you could do as like a 1-credit class. And I thought, you know what, I'll take tennis. I missed tennis. I haven't played tennis. So I took it. And I loved it. It was so much fun, and it kind of came back to you. It's like riding a bike. It takes a little while to get your serve and things going, but it was fun. And then I moved to Charlotte. And once I moved to Charlotte after college, tennis was huge there. And I moved to Charlotte not knowing anybody except one person, and I got involved with leagues there and it took off. I was playing 5 to 6 days a week and constantly playing, and it's just continued after I moved here to Atlanta.
Well, and then of course you are now with on UST Georgia staff for quite
Yes,
some time.
which is so nice. I'm so lucky to have transitioned. And the way that I came on board here was I had been a stay-at-home mom for about, I guess it was about 3 years after I left my recruiting life, which is what I did for years before I got pregnant. Then I stayed home for several years, and I decided I was ready to get back into the workforce, but I didn't want to get back in too heavily. I just wanted to start with something part-time. And so I just sent out a text to all of my friends in my little social group. And one of the girls, Dawn Castro, who used to work at UST Atlanta, said that she thought they were looking to hire somebody part-time in the Georgia office. And I said, oh, that sounds interesting. And she said, it's an administrative position, but it might be something just to get you back into the workforce.
Sure.
So I went ahead and applied, and here I am. And now I'm a full-time. And I still do the administrative work, but I do a lot of other things, I feel. The member services, I help a lot with the tennis apprentice program, and I just love to be involved and help people.
Yeah, as we like to call it, not just the Jill of all trades, the Susan of all trades. So yeah, you have some knowledge about almost everything our organization does, and it's unbelievably valued and respected. So, and speaking of that, you are a huge fan of basically any team, right, that resides in the Black-Eyed Susan state of Maryland, specifically University of Maryland, Fear the Turtle, and the Baltimore Ravens, Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Colts when they were there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you spit on them when you fly into Indianapolis. You're upset.
The Indianapolis Colts. I don't.
Yeah, I understand. I
And
understand.
of course,
What?
Cleveland doesn't like us because we stole their football team. So.
And that's true. They did. They do. They do not like you all. So.
No,
So what? You know, obviously that's your home base. Growing up as a child, what you're such a fan of all the Maryland teams. That's something that you kind of were born with, permeated.
I totally
through your family.
blame my father for that, because my father had the Oriole game on every single day that they had a game. And if we went to the beach, because we did have a beach house, we were lucky enough to have that growing up. And when we went to the beach, it was on the radio on the beach. So we never went anywhere and didn't have the Oriole game on. So that's where my love of the Orioles came. My love of the Terrapins is kind of a roundabout way, because I didn't go to Maryland. Yeah, I didn't go to Maryland, and my parents didn't go to Maryland. They went to Purdue, so they're Boilermakers. And so when Maryland played at Purdue, my dad and I have to go back and forth because they pull for Purdue, and I'm like, no. But
misguided.
Yes. So, but when I fell in love with basketball, I started following Maryland, and I have followed them ever since I was in college, and just absolutely love them, and I feel like I went to the school. I've actually been to their arena and love it. And with the Orioles, I go back to an Oriole game almost every single year. I go back to Baltimore to see them play. And if I don't get there, sometimes they come here and play the Braves, so I'll watch them play the Braves. So, and luckily the Braves have a couple of the Oriole players who I really follow, like Nick Markakis and Darren O'Day and some players like that.
So what was your dad concerned when he had the Oriole games on the radio that Earl Weaver would drop a couple profanities and you had heard it during his years?
Probably. The problem was my dad was probably dropping the same thing.
Okay.
He just doing it a little calmly.
I think the two most famous Maryland sports fans are Scott Van Pelt and Susan Pierce. Scott Van Pelt, the ESPN Sports Center anchor, does a fantastic job. So I was actually in. I full disclosure, I was actually in TD Bank North Garden in Boston in 2006 for the women's Final Four when Maryland won the national championship. The famous Christy Tolliver shot. I didn't know you at the time. I would have thought of you instantly when that shot went in. But great effort by them. So, well, Susan, Fear the Turtle.
Here you go.
Oh, beautiful. Good luck this season. Good luck. Hope the season finishes. So.
Yeah, me too.
in all seriousness, congratulations on this well-deserved special recognition award for not just your efforts with the COVID service awards and COVID service protocols and trying to help folks, but just being Susan Pierce. We really appreciate all that you've done for the association, all that you will continue to do, and thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you. And I did want to give a shout out, like you did earlier, to Kim and Greta, because they put the whole program together, and the organization of it was wonderful, and I ran with it, and it was a wonderful thing to do. So I'm very blessed to be honored with this.
Yes, and thank you to Kim and Greta as well. I appreciate you saying that as well for that. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the UST Georgia 2020 Special Recognition Award, Susan Pierce. We thank you for joining. We thank her for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.